looking at Chavin de Huantar, a religious capital located in Chavin, Peru. This is just a ravishing sight to see. It is said to have been constructed sometime between 900 to 200 BCE. However, the entire complex was not constructed all at once. The building is comprised of two building phases. The U-shaped old temple was constructed in 900 BCE, and the new temple was constructed approximately sometime around 500 BCE.
Yes, just simply ravishing. Settled in a mountain range 3,200 meters above sea level, this archaeological site is one of the earliest sites settled along the central coast. Chavin de Huantar sits between the eastern and western ranges of the Andes. Chavin is a civilization that was named after its main archaeological site and is preserved in coastal Peru. Chavin architectures were dramatic, at times even built on mountain tops. Many times buildings such as Chavin de Huantar were constructed with a U shape and facing an expansive view. Chavin's site was coordinated with an adjacent river. This is said to have been done as a reference to water sources and their importance in society.
Today's main focus is the architecture of Chavin de Huantar as a whole and three significant artifacts that dwell within it. Their names are the Plan and Lenzone stone, the relief sculpture, and the nose ornament.
So, as we all know, Chavin de Huantar is a religious capital. Its construction was strictly for religious purposes. The main focus for the temple's construction was the staff god and the smiling god of the Chavin people. It also focused on Feline. Much of the temple's focuses on shamanistic transformations between humans and animals and emphasizes on felines. The practice of shamanism advocates that by traveling to the spiritual world, shamans have the ability to call upon spirit helpers to aid them in recovering lost or afflicted souls. Among human beings, shamans are gifted at transforming in order to travel between realms. In previous occasions, shamans have healed the ill, aided the reimbursement of hunting, fishing, and war, and worked for spiritual balance in the community.
What separates this temple from others and makes it so interesting is not only its religious aspects and purposes, but the artwork and discreet construction it was built with to convey these messages. Much of the artwork within the architecture and the architecture itself communicates the power of Chavin religious ideology. The temple was 60 meters tall and adorned by a jaguar sculpture, which in Chavin culture is a symbol of power. The temple was constructed with zoomorphic motifs that include felins, raptorial birds, and snakes that are represented as deities. The majority of these animals were depicted with eccentric eyes, fanged mouths, modular width, and bilateral symmetry. Their depictions within the temple were important for the animals are emblems of religious authority.
The temple consists of art with anatropic organization, or pieces with invert motifs that still have upright images, and reversible organization, pieces that may be turned 90 or 270 degrees and still maintain upright images. Some pieces are kenning, or displaying one thing to mean another. In addition, designs on stones within the temples display rituals practiced in temples. Sometimes the art of and within Chavin du Huantar is described as grotesque and sinister, with its double profile composition, which profiles heads doubled or joined to create one face. I can also see where the description of grotesque and sinister can be applied, as much of the architecture emphasizes on the color black. Overall, Chavin de Huantar's impressive sculptures and stone monuments display just how prosperous of a society they were for their time.
From the temple's original construction, its interior was riddled with a multitude of tunnels, and some of these maze-like galleries are connected with one another. Others are separate. These small tunnels allowed for air to ventilate and pass through, which leads us to discussing the first important artifact within Chavin de Huantar, which is the lanzon. The lanzon was made from granite and is located in the center of the maze-like system in the old temple of Chavin. It is a sculpture that represents a deity and is made up of human and animal elements. The Chavin culture tended to favor this technique in which two images share parts or outline called contour rivalry. That created a barrier between believers and non believers in the Chavin religion.
Lanzon, meaning blade in Spanish, is blade shaped and is 15 feet in height. The object has a flat relief and is designed are in a short curvilinear pattern. The blade-shaped artifact has a head of a snake and a face of a jaguar, reinforcing the temple's advocacy of zoomorphic motifs, and the eyebrows, they seem to terminate in snakes, making them read both bodily and animal features. This artifact, lying in the center of this maze, like architecture, seems to be acting as an oracle, hence the point of pilgrimage. Yet the quite interesting point here is that although it might have been considered a center of pilgrimage, very few had access to the Lanzon stone. Only the wealthy or coordinator of ceremony typically had access to the Lanzon stone. It is said to have served as a cult figure.
Sound could be projected from inside the temple out to pilgrims in the plaza outside, conveying that the entire building spoke with the voice of God to its people.
And here we are looking at the relief sculpture. It is located on the ruins of a stairway at Chavin. At the bottom we can see jaguars depicted in the shallow relief granite stone. These reliefs are also depicting the religious ceremonies that took place in Chavin de Huantar.
The last and final major artifact that we're going to discuss is the nose ornament. The nose ornament was made with gold alloy and it was worn by the elite males and females under the nose in the Chavin culture. The purpose of wearing the nose ornament was to show not only their wealth and power, but their devotion to the Chavin religion. The nose ornament is held in place by the semicircular section at the top. This artifact would transform the wearer into a supernatural being during the ongoing of a ceremony.